Good morning, everyone. Welcome. Everyone is just still loading in. We're have about 130 participants on the call so far. So I'd like to introduce myself. My name is Nick Fry. I'm the Manager of Business Development with Tourism Nova Scotia. We'd like to welcome you to the fourth in our webinar series on building connections with your customers through social media, part one, offered in partnership with Digital Nova Scotia, and it's offered by WordCraft. So this is our fourth webinar, and we're all working remotely. So we really appreciate that you are joining us here through these challenging times in the pandemic. With the travel restrictions, it's really having a significant impact on businesses, and we know that. And this weekly webinar series offers practical solutions to help your business and be ready, improve your business and be ready when the time is right to welcome visitors. So we have about an hour scheduled, and this is our fourth one, and we've gone over every time. So if it's 11 o'clock and you have to go somewhere else, have another call, that's fine. We're going to continue and finish our webinar. It is recorded and we'll share it later on. For those of you who aren't familiar with Tourism Nova Scotia, I know we have some guests through our partnership with Digital Nova Scotia and through our other group. So we are the marketing organization for the province of Nova Scotia, and we market Nova Scotia as a vacation destination and lead initiatives to help grow the tourism industry. So one of those initiatives would be this webinar series. Just give me one sec here, flip over. Bear with me. So a little housekeeping. We'll be answering questions. If you have any, please use the Q&A located at the bottom. We want to keep it, of course, on the topic at hand. So if you have any questions for us about anything outside of this topic, please send us a question. There's email contact at the end. You can send us a message on the chat here, and we'll make sure you get the answers for sure. Any links or anything we talk about, we'll share out as well. You'll receive an email within 24 hours to let you know the link to watch the recording, also any details, upcoming webinars, and we just want to make sure, and we'll also send a survey just to make sure that these are as effective as they can be. We also wanted to acknowledge this is a partnership, like I said, with Digital Nova Scotia. So we have Robert Haldane and Hannah Edgar on the call, on our panelists. So if there's any questions we can answer, our friends at Digital will also help us out. Also, we have a really excellent resource around COVID-19 on our website. I'll send the link out after, but it's a really great FAQ. We have links to all the resources available to you. And again, if you have any questions around that, just send us a message and we'll help you out. So I'd like to hand this over to Ingrid Deon, owner of WordCraft. She's a social media expert and crackerjack writer who won't stop until all the words, spelling, and grammar errors are corrected with a red pen or any pen she can get her hands on. She putting pen to paper or fingertips to keyboard to craft the content you need. Ingrid offers a full range of digital communication services, including writing, editing, translation, and of course, why we're here today, social media strategies. And social media is one of the best ways to connect with your guests nowadays, and it's vital for reaching people. So Ingrid today is going to discuss creating goals for social media, creating a content calendar, and what to post, where, and when to post it, which, is very, a lot of us have questions about the right time, the right strategy. So I'm going to hand it over to Ingrid, and really looking forward to what Ingrid has to say today around social media. Thank you, Ingrid.
Great. Hey. I'm going to share my screen. All right. So I just wanted to thank Tourism Nova Scotia and Digital Nova Scotia for inviting me to present this to you. I will dive right in because I've got a lot to cover, and I want to make sure I get to everything. So I think we all know why we're here, to talk about social media. So we'll start off with, this is something that I've heard a bunch of times recently in the past few weeks, a couple months, the thought of offering a painkiller instead of a vitamin on social media right now during COVID-19. And this is, the idea is to promote information that people urgently need rather than those optional or nice to have posts. So there are more people on social media than ever right now. I think I saw a stat recently that said that social media use has jumped 61% since the pandemic began. So you need to concentrate on maintaining that trusting relationship with your audience through social media. So again, think back to the painkiller versus the vitamin. You need to provide people with what they urgently need. So they need up-to-date information. So what is your business or organization doing to stop the spread? Are you open? Are you closed? Are you doing some deep cleaning? Are you offering virtual experiences? Do you have a recovery plan? What is it? The worst thing you can do right now is to ghost your followers. So you need to keep posting. Even if your business or organization is closed, keep reminding people what you're doing, keep communicating. So some of you may already have a social media strategy, but for those who don't, I want to go through how you would start setting up your social media strategy. So you should always start by setting goals, and your goals should be somewhat related to your business goals or your organization's goals, but you should make strategic goals for your social media as well. So what do you want to achieve with social media? Do you want more followers? Do you want more engagement? Do you want more clicks to your website? Do you want more bookings through your Book Now button? Any of these can be goals for your social media. And then this will help you figure out what to post later. So make sure those goals are specific, measurable, and actionable. And by that, I mean, you need to state exactly what you want to achieve. So instead of just saying, you know, oh, I want to reach more people. Well, how are you going to do that? And exactly what do you want? How are you going to reach more people? What are the steps you're going to take? And how are you going to measure that later? So you need to be able to tell if you're reaching your goal, and then you need to determine those realistic steps you need to take to reach your goal. And if you can clearly state what you're trying to do in detail, of course, you're more likely to achieve it. So you need to start with a plan. So you need to create a content plan. And this helps keep you on target with your business goals and your goals for social media. Typically, I usually plan 1 month in advance, but this isn't the time to plan that far in advance. So I would recommend right now to stay pretty nimble because things are changing all the time. So you may want to plan your content 1 or 2 weeks in advance rather than a whole month in advance. And then reevaluate your planned posts every few days. Excuse me. You can also bank some more evergreen content. So some of those posts that aren't time specific. So maybe the story behind your business or organization, or employee profiles, or like highlights of your tourist attraction, fun facts about your region, those types of things you can prepare in advance because they don't necessarily have, they're not necessarily affected by time. But again, I would continue to reevaluate those if they're planned in advance because things are changing in the news all the time and you're not really sure if things will be irrelevant next week or if there's going to be some sort of sensitivity to the topic that you're planning to post about. So what to post and where? I'm going to go through the top 4 social media platforms that I typically use with my clients. Of course, there are others like Pinterest and TikTok and WhatsApp and YouTube, but most people typically use Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, or LinkedIn, or any combination of those. So those are the 4 that I will be going through. So on Facebook, so there have been studies as to what performs best on each social media platform. So on Facebook, almost anything goes because you're reaching a broader audience since Facebook is the most used social media platform. You're also going to reach a bit of an older audience. The target demographic is around the 28 to 65 age range. If your target audience is younger, then maybe Facebook isn't the place to be. But if your target demographic is somewhere between 28 and 65, then Facebook is a great place to be. And some of the things that perform best, and this means that, you know, more people will see them, more people will engage with them, are videos and live videos, so pre-recorded videos as well as live videos. Links to your own blog posts or links to third-party content. So this would be, you know, blog posts by other people or news articles, those types of things. And again, and of course events, because Facebook has its own events portal within Facebook. And so Facebook tends to promote events. So these are the things that you should post. These are the types of things that you should post on Facebook. Of course, other things can perform well as well, but these are sort of some of the top performing types of posts. Live videos, you typically receive 3 times higher engagement than pre-recorded videos. And that's probably why a lot of people are doing live video right now. It's a great way to connect with your audience in a more direct and genuine way. So when you're, you know, off the cuff, sort of like I'm doing right now, people can relate to you better. They see the people behind your company as, you know, humans that they can relate to. So it really helps for people to convert. So if you have a business, or, you know, if you have an online shop for your business and you can show some of those things that are for sale in your online shop through a live video, people are more likely to click through to your online shop to purchase if they're watching the live video. And also people are self-isolating and they're seeking opportunities to connect with more people face-to-face. So that's another reason why live video is great. Excuse me. When you start a live video, your followers also get a notification if they're on Facebook that says, you know, such and such has started a live video. So that's another reason why engagement is higher. So people get that direct notification that says that you have started a live video. And so then they can go and watch along with it. So on Instagram, so beautiful photos perform really well on Instagram. It's all about the visual. So if your business or organization isn't particularly visual, and I know most tourism related businesses and organizations are pretty visual, but of course, yeah, I've worked with clients before that aren't necessarily visual, like, you know, I worked with a client that was converting waste to energy. It's not really a beautiful thing, so Instagram wasn't really the place for them. But if you have beautiful photos of destinations, photos showing behind the scenes, user-generated content from people who have visited you in the past, those are all great things to post on Instagram. Inspirational quotes also perform really well. So you've probably seen these on Instagram before. They're, you know, usually a solid background or an image in the background with some inspiring words on top. And you can use something like Canva to create some of those posts really easily and very beautifully. And they perform well on Instagram. People really like to double tap on those. And of course, Instagram stories. You can use Instagram stories to ask questions, do polls, show how-to tutorials, show some behind the scenes, and announce any sort of specials or promotions. These perform really well on Instagram stories. Don't post any links on your Instagram grid photos. So sometimes I'll see people in the text, they'll post a link. The links aren't clickable on Instagram grid photos. So there's no point in posting a link because people aren't going to be able to click it. So if you use You can use the link in your bio to post a link. So in your text on your post, you would just say, click the link in my bio to learn more. And people will go to your bio and click that link. So you can change that link as you go, or you can use some of those third-party tools like Linktree or Link in Bio or Later. They all offer services where you can put a series of links. So when people click the link in your bio, they can get any of the links that you've posted about in the past. So that's just one of my pet peeves, is when I see links in the text on a grid post. So if you have 10,000 followers or more on Instagram, you can use your stories to post links. So you can do the swipe up, and people can swipe up on your story to get a link. But otherwise you can't do links in your stories. You need 10,000 followers or a verified account. It's not super easy to get a verified account. So for Facebook Live and Instagram Live, I've got a few ideas. So like I was saying in the last slide, you can answer questions. So you can do, you can post a sticker on your Instagram. Okay, I'm still here. You can post a sticker on your Instagram story that says, ask me a question, and you can do an ask me anything. So you can, hang on, all right. I just want to make sure that I'm still here. Can everyone still hear?
Hey, Ingrid.
Yeah, okay.
Can you hear me, Ingrid?
Yeah, yeah.
I just shut your video off for a little bit. It was just cutting off a bit, and I'm not sure if it was using a little bit too much bandwidth. So I was just going to, we'll turn your video back on for the Q&A.
No worries. Okay, sounds good.
Does that sound good? Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry about that.
Nope, just wanted to make sure that I was still broadcasting.
No worries.
All right. So yes, so you can post a sticker on your Instagram stories and ask people to ask you questions about something, and then do an ask me anything where you go through the different questions and answer. So they can be about your business, your organization, whatever's relevant to your business itself, and answer people's questions. It's pretty entertaining, and it's a great opportunity for your followers to like pick your brain. You can do some sort of online demo, so you can show off artifacts if you work at a museum. You can do a virtual tour of almost any kind of different business or organization. You can offer some virtual experiences, and I'll show some examples in the next slide. And then entertain. So people are looking to be entertained right now. We're all sitting at home. We're self-isolated. We want to see people doing something. So if there's music from your local area, get a musician to do a live stream. I know the Osprey in Shelburne has been doing this. So they have been getting musicians from across the country really to do Facebook Lives through the Osprey's Facebook page, so that people can enjoy these concerts even though the concert hall is closed. So I thought that was pretty brilliant. And you can do that, almost anyone can do that, right? If a little theater in Shelburne can do it, you can do it as well. Also, like a chef cooking a signature dish, watching people cook is super entertaining. Any sort of, like, I don't know, anything that's even mildly entertaining is great on live. And I know the idea of going live can be a little daunting. So you can always try a practice round beforehand, but really don't stress too much. The point of going live is to provide that real, genuine reflection of your company. So this is something that I saw that St. Lucia did. So they've been doing these 7 minutes in St. Lucia broadcasts on their live, on Facebook Live. So they're using things that people are doing anyways while social distancing, like cooking or working out, doing yoga. listening to music, and then they're using it to promote the island. So they have, you know, yoga for 7 minutes. They have cooking with a chef for 7 minutes. They have this live DJ party, and then they have meditation on the beach. Well, I guess we can't really do meditation on the beach right now, but maybe later this summer. So I thought this was a great idea. So promotes the destination, keeps it top of mind, so that when people are sitting at home and thinking about where they want to go in the future, you know, they're seeing what happens in St. Lucia, and it just looks really, really attractive. So a lot of tourism operators here in Nova Scotia could really take this idea and run with it, I think. So let's go to Twitter now. So on Twitter, news performs really well. And this would be, you know, industry news, news about your company, or news about your organization, or, you know, news about the tourism industry in Nova Scotia in general. Jumping on any trends. So there's, when you go to your Twitter homepage, you can see the trending hashtags. So if any of those hashtags are relevant to your business or organization, figure out a way that you can jump on that trend, because then a lot of people will see your post, especially if you use the trending hashtag, you'll get a lot of visibility. So it's a great way to reach a wider audience. But if you see a trending hashtag that isn't relevant to your business or industry or organization, don't try and jump on it. Like, don't force it. Just if you see something, you think, yeah, I can make that. I can use that to my advantage. Then do so. But, you know, don't force it. Again, sort of like Facebook, links to your blog posts or any sort of third-party articles, especially news articles, perform really well on Twitter. And GIFs perform well. This is kind of a funny one. I had a client that wanted to create a few GIFs about their company. And so we posted them on Twitter and we posted them on Facebook as well. And on Facebook, they did not perform well. But on Twitter, they performed really well. And so then I did some research, and apparently it's a thing. So GIFs perform well on Twitter. I mean, you might think that it's hard to make a GIF. So these are the short videos that repeat over and over again. They're usually a few seconds long. They're, you know, not more than just a couple seconds. But there are some easy tools that you can use online to create GIFs, like Canva again. And there's also Giphy. There's an Easy GIF, that's EZ GIF. So it's easy to just do it yourself. So for LinkedIn, of course, job and career info perform really well. So this is when you show off your company culture or the culture behind your organization, any sort of profiles of employees or positions that are open. Industry news, so any sort of, if you know, you can repost posts from other people in the same industry who are posting, you know, news about tourism, and any sort of news that you hear, you can, you know, repost those, post links to those industry, those newsworthy industry items. And then professional content, and by that I mean any kind of events or webinars, ways that people can learn more about their industry. So maybe your organization has published like an ebook or a study or a paper, or you have like a cheat sheet to share, things that help people professionally. So those perform really well on LinkedIn. So all in all, keep your destination top of mind. If you offer helpful information people need right now, quality entertainment, which is also, it's something people need, your potential visitors will remember you when they're able to travel again. So you just need to, again, keep posting so that people remember when they're dreaming about their vacation, they remember that you offer this, you know, unique service or experience. People are really eager to help businesses and organizations out right now. So you can post ways that your customers can help you out. If you're set up for online sales, if you have a brick and mortar shop, but you've pivoted to online, then make sure you keep telling people that they can shop online through your online shop. You have to keep reminding people. So if you feel like a broken record, you're not a broken record. People aren't seeing every single one of your posts. Keep reminding them that they can shop online and tell them how to do it. Remind people that they can buy gift cards to use when you reopen. There's also a sticker on Instagram that you can use in your stories where people can go directly, they can click the sticker and they can buy a gift card. So you can set yourself up that way. Ask people to write a positive review. So if they visited you before, or if you know that they're already a fan, ask them for a positive review. It's an easy, free way that they can support your business or organization. If you're doing delivery or curbside pickup, make sure, again, you keep hammering it out, hammering it down, telling people, we are doing this, please support us. And again, another free way that people can support you is by posting memories. So ask past visitors to share photos from their vacations from last year, or from, last winter, or 4 years ago, 5 years ago, whatever it is. And then you can repost those on your social media. So it's a free way that people can support you. And it's like content that you don't even have to think about. It just appears and it comes to you. People will post their memories and you can just repost those. It's like it just does it itself. It's a brilliant thing. So you can even make a contest out of it. Like give something away, give away a gift card or something to your business, and ask people to enter by posting photos from past visits. So that would be a great way to generate a whole bunch of content that you can use to keep your business or organization or destination top of mind. And make sure you're sharing the latest news about your business or organization. So post a pinned tweet. So this is when you post a tweet and it appears at the top of your profile. There are usually like 3 little dots in the corner that you can click on and it'll say pin tweet. So it'll stay at the top no matter how many times you tweet afterwards. And you can do the same thing on Facebook where you have a pinned post. So again, 3 little dots in the corner, you click on those dots and you pin the post to the top. So whatever people need to know right away, like whether you're open, whether you're closed, whether you're doing online sales, whether you're offering curbside pickup, whether people can buy gift cards, whatever it is, make sure that that is the first thing that people see when they come to your Twitter profile, when they come to your Facebook page, and keep updating it as your business shifts. And support other local businesses as well. So it's a great time to band together and help each other. So feature other local businesses. So if you are not open, but there are local businesses in your area that are open, maybe you can make a list of like, here are all the restaurants that are doing takeout in our region right now. Here are all the retail stores that are doing, curbside pickup or delivery right now. Those types of things. Create a community where you're all helping each other. It really helps in these tough times. So the best time to post. So people always ask me, what's the best time to post? And honestly, there's no secret. Really, the best way to figure out what the best time to post is to look at the behavior of your actual followers. So it's going to be different for everyone. So if you go into your insights on LinkedIn, on Twitter, on Facebook, on Instagram, you can find out exactly when your followers are on that platform. So when they're on Facebook, what days most of them are on Facebook, what time most of them are on Facebook. and you can sort of figure out what the best time to post is. Now make sure that your information, figure out which time zone it is. It should say, I know on Facebook they're all in Pacific time, so you have to adjust it slightly for Atlantic time. But you can tell exactly when your followers are online. So that's sort of the main answer. Now, there is a little bit of a cheat sheet. Sprout Social just did a study where they looked at the best times to post during COVID-19, and things haven't changed that much. Lunchtime in the Eastern time zone is still pretty much the best time to post in general. Now, if your target audience is only in the Atlantic time zone, then maybe this information would be shifted 1 hour. So instead of 1 p.m. Atlantic, it would be 12 noon. So on Facebook, during COVID-19, the best time to post has been shown as Monday, Wednesday, Friday at lunchtime in the Eastern time zone, or probably lunchtime here for businesses that are only targeting Atlantic Canada or the Maritimes, I guess. So on Instagram, pretty similar, Monday, Tuesday, and Friday at 1 p.m. Atlantic. On Twitter, anytime Friday morning, so 9 to 11 a.m. So that's the best time to post. Again, make sure you cross-reference this with where your actual followers are online, like if that's a peak for you in your analytics. And on LinkedIn, Wednesday at 5 p.m., Thursday over the lunch hour, and then Friday around lunchtime. So it seems like Friday is a pretty good day to post overall. But again, cross-reference it with your own analytics. So when you're planning your content, I like to put my content into different buckets or pillars. So if I'm planning a week or 2 weeks or a month of content for my social media, I first start out by creating some of these pillars. These are just examples here on my presentation. They're not necessarily relevant to everyone. So think about your business and think about different themes that you could create within your business. So maybe you have an hour story that just shows, the company story, the people behind the business, any sort of anniversaries, any sort of swag or merchandise that you have, company growth and milestones, employee profiles, but maybe you don't. So these are just examples. Usually most people or businesses should have about 4 to 7 pillars, different buckets that your content fits into. If you're a product-based business, then you would probably have a product pillar. If you're a service-based business, then maybe you have a service pillar. If you're an experience-based service or business, then you probably have a pillar for experiences. So it's all different. If you are product-based, and here's an example of different posts that would fit into a product pillar. So showing off those products, announcing any sort of new product releases, highlighting ingredients or the manufacturing process behind the product, asking fans for opinions on products. So people love to be a part of your company decisions. So you can do polls on Twitter, on Facebook, and on Instagram, and you can ask people for their opinion on, like, should we release this product, or should we release this product? Should we do this flavor next or this flavor next? You can do the same thing with services. So should I offer this service or this service? Asking people, giving people 2 options or more, and asking people to vote is a great way to get people engaged, and then educating people about the product. So you can pretty much use the product pillar and change it to service, just like showing your services, announcing new services, highlighting, what goes into that service, product, service, they're pretty parallel. And then another example would be like promotions. So any sort of giveaways and contests, if you're partnering with other local businesses, or sales and specials, that would fit under the promotion pillar. And pro tips. So this is a lot of businesses and organizations might be able to offer tips to their followers, tips for operating in the tourism industry, best practices that you've learned, ways to travel responsibly. Those types of things would fit into pro tips. Other examples could be, I mean, there are loads of them. I've had clients that are more in the science and technology field, so they will have a science pillar. Some product-based clients also have a product usage pillar. So this shows like how people use the product, you know, is showing user-generated content. So pictures from your fans using your product, or pictures from your fans coming to your destination. You know, there are all kinds of different pillars, but if you come up with a few different categories, then you can then think, okay, I need a certain number of posts about our story for this week, and I need a certain number of posts about promotions for this week. And it really helps you to map things out. So some tips when you're creating your pillars, you can add weight to your pillars. So maybe you want 25% of your posts to be the about us, the our story. Or maybe you want it to be 10%. You know, you decide how important those pillars are to your business. Decide how often you'll post. So it's totally dependent on what you want to do. I would just encourage people to be to post with consistency. So don't just post a couple times and then take a 5-day break and then think, oh, darn, I haven't posted in 5 days, so I should post now. Just make sure you have a schedule that you post consistently. And whether that's 2 times a week or every day or 3 times a week or only on weekdays, just make sure it's consistent. And then start mapping it out. Look at a calendar, figure out, okay, Tuesday I'm going to post and it's going to be this pillar. Thursday I'm going to post and it's going to be under this pillar. And then you can start filling in what's going to go in those posts. And you can schedule your posts. So through Facebook, you can schedule right in Facebook. You can go to your Facebook page, your business page, and go to publishing tools, and you can schedule a post for whichever day you want and whichever time you want. Just make sure it's in your time zone. And if it's not in your time zone, figure out what the conversion is. You can't schedule your posts through Twitter or Instagram or LinkedIn natively through those platforms, but you can use a series of third-party tools to help you schedule your posts. So one that a lot of people use is Hootsuite, because it has a free version. There's also a paid version as well. So you can put your posts in there and you can schedule them to send to the different social media platforms whenever you want them to post. This will save you a lot of time because you're not just like, oh, I have to post right now. You can do it all in a day and get all of your posts for that week done. There are other platforms that you can use. There's Buffer, there's Later. I myself use Sprout Social. It's a little expensive for the average user, but I've used loads of different social media management tools, and Sprout is by far my favorite. So, and another way that you can schedule your posts is to put reminders in your calendar. So you don't need any kind of tool, just, you know, put the text of your post in your calendar on a certain time, and put a reminder that you need to post this to LinkedIn at this time. So you'll get a reminder and then you'll go and do it yourself. So that's kind of a free way of scheduling your posts without using any third-party tools. All right. So I just wanted to talk about tone for a little bit. So on Instagram, we're used to sort of an airbrushed version of reality. A lot of people post, you know, the highlights, the beautiful things. But I think we're moving away from that, especially with COVID-19. Posting an image of beautiful people enjoying their best life isn't necessarily relevant right now or appropriate when we're all self-isolating. So be careful about what you're posting. Make sure you're being kind and considerate. Be human. Like, don't post photos of groups or photos of people shaking hands or people high-fiving. It's not relevant right now, and it just really looks a little awkward. I've seen posts like this recently, and they just fall flat. So make sure you're keeping the tone. Yeah, make sure you're just staying human. And to that, I saw this quote the other day, and I thought it was extremely appropriate for right now. Be more human. No matter what happens next, if we use that as our constant guide and filter, we'll be okay. The most human company wins. So keep that in mind when you're creating social media content. Make sure you're being human. And avoid making jokes. Like, I know humor is great right now because, you know, it can be a trying time for a lot of people. So humor is a good thing, but not everyone will appreciate all of the tongue-in-cheek humor. So you want to make people smile and laugh without being insensitive or offending anyone. So before you post, ask, you know, is this appropriate? Is it possible for someone to take this the wrong way? Just be sensitive right now. And talking about hashtags. So on Instagram first, hashtags, I love hashtags, and I could talk about them all day, but you can post a maximum of 30 hashtags per post on Instagram. There has been a study that showed that posts with between 9 and 12 hashtags get the most engagement. I'm not exactly sure what the science is behind that, but they did a lot of experiments, and those posts received more engagement, so more likes, more shares, more comments. So I typically do stick to that, 9 to 12 hashtags per post. They can be in the caption itself or in the first comment. You've probably seen people do both. Neither has any impact on the algorithm, so it doesn't matter if they're in the caption or in the first comment. If you do put them in your caption, I can share the link, but there's this thing called Instagram Caption line break, and it puts those line breaks in your Instagram caption so that everything's not all squished together like one big block of text. You can create line breaks and paragraphs, and then you can separate your hashtags so they're not squished right next to the rest of your text. So I will share the link to that with the folks at Tourism Nova Scotia so they can share it out. But you just type your content in, and you can do it on your phone or you can do it on your desktop as well. And you click a button and it copies it to your clipboard, and then you can paste it right into Instagram. So it's a great way to lay out your caption so that it looks better, it's more readable, and your hashtags are separated from the rest of your text. And I always use a mixture of high-performing and niche hashtags. So by that I mean use a mixture of hashtags that have millions of mentions, as well as those that have hundreds or thousands of mentions. And when you're searching hashtags in Instagram, it will tell you how many times that hashtag has been used. So this is how you can start creating a list of hashtags that have those millions of mentions, as well as those more niche hashtags with thousands or hundreds of mentions. The reason for this is that the hashtags with millions of mentions will perform really well for you right away. So right away, you'll be at the top of the most recent posts, and people will see them if they're following that hashtag, but they'll disappear, like, because so many people are using that hashtag, you won't appear at the top very long. So they'll perform great for you right away, but they don't have any longevity. Whereas those hashtags that are more niche, they'll perform better for you over a longer period of time. So they won't have that big bang right away, but because not as many people are using that hashtag, you'll appear at the top of the most recent for quite a while. So if you use a combination, you'll get the most bang for your buck with hashtags. Make sure your hashtags are relevant to your ideal customer. So I see a lot of people using hashtags on Instagram that are relevant to their own company or their own organization. And this is good because you want people who are searching for, you know, hashtag whatever it is, hashtag luxury hotel. You want those people to find your posts, but you also want your ideal customer who is following a certain hashtag to see your posts as well. So make sure you're putting hashtags that are relevant to your ideal customer as well. And by this, I mean, so if your ideal customer is like a luxury traveler, then make sure you're using some of those hashtags that they're using, like travel blogger.
Ingrid?
Yeah.
Hey, Ingrid. Hey, just a quick question here. And we've got lots of questions for later, but somebody on the that's listening just had a question, and they just wanted to know what a hashtag was. So just a little baseline clarification there.
Okay, so you can see this, the pound symbol on old phones. That's what a hashtag is. So it helps categorize your content on Twitter, LinkedIn, and Instagram. So they don't necessarily do anything on Facebook, but if you use the pound or the hash symbol, the number sign, whatever you want to call it, and then a keyword afterwards, it helps to categorize your content so that people can see your post if they're following a certain hashtag or if they're searching for a certain hashtag. It's a way for people to find you. So that's what it is. Yeah, so as I was saying about the make sure they're relevant to your ideal customer. So I have a cheat sheet that I will share. If you, and I'll post a link later on where you can download my presentation here. You can download the PDF of my presentation. And if you do it through my link, I'll also send a freebie that has a list of the top or 10 hashtags that you can use for attracting your ideal customer. And I have 6 different examples of some of those ideal customers, like the average traveler, the luxury traveler, the history buff, foodies, families, and nature lovers. So if any of those are your ideal customers, I have a list of hashtags that you can use to attract those ideal customers. And again, look at your analytics. So reuse some hashtags, try some new ones, and then see how they're performing. So if you go into your insights on Instagram, you go into your post, it'll tell you how many people have come to your post through your hashtags. So you want to aim to have like maybe a third of your impressions on your post come through your hashtags. That would mean that your hashtags are performing really well. And I'll talk about hashtags for LinkedIn and Twitter really quick. Like I said, don't use hashtags on Facebook. They serve no purpose. On LinkedIn, I wouldn't use more than 5 hashtags per post. And the reason for that is that you could be flagged as spam if you use too many hashtags on LinkedIn. LinkedIn's algorithm is sort of strange because they have actual human beings who are looking through LinkedIn to figure out what goes viral. So they can flag you as spam if you have too many hashtags. Have a look at what others in your industry are using, what your competition's using to figure out what hashtag would be best on LinkedIn. And then LinkedIn also will recommend hashtags. So when you start typing your copy it will suggest hashtags. So you can find some good ideas in there. On Twitter, typically use 2 to 3 hashtags per tweet. You can use one. I just wouldn't use a whole pile of them because you only have 280 characters, and so you want to use those characters wisely. Like I said earlier, have a look at the trending hashtags and see if there are any that you can use that are relevant to your company or organization. And yeah, make sure that they're relevant to what you're tweeting about. Don't use a trending hashtag just to use a trending hashtag. It's not going to perform well for you. Just make sure that it's relevant to what you're tweeting about. And that's it for now. I will take some questions.
Thanks, Ingrid.
I feel like I flew through that.
Oh, no, it was great. Can you hear me okay?
Yes.
Okay, so if you wanted to start your video back up, that'd be great. So I thought some of the stuff you said was really relevant, of course, but the fact that social media use has jumped so high, I think that's really interesting. It just really reinforces the need for people to up their game and use some of the tools that you gave them today. I also thought it was really interesting that live video gets higher engagement 3 times. So,
yeah.
That again, if I was a business, I'd find that to be great information. One other thing I thought was super relevant and helpful was when you said ask customers to help you out to write reviews or things like that, because those are things that will help you now, and customers do want to help businesses that they support. Absolutely. But it will also help you down the road because third-party endorsement really is recognized by other potential customers as such a strong endorsement of the product. So any kind of information you can gather now will help you now, of course, but also down the road.
Sure.
When you had mentioned a cheat sheet on where to post, and we'll send the link out later, but where would you get that from?
Oh, on when to post?
Yeah.
So that was done through Sprout Social. I can send out. I can provide you with the link to that study. It's just a recent study that.
Great. So
yeah.
Perfect. So if anyone listening has any questions, just type it in the Q&A box below. I'm going to. One person's question was. Could you talk about linking, this is from Kathleen Glauser, can we talk about linking Facebook to Instagram and Twitter and which ones really work and which ones don't? For example, whatever you post on Facebook goes automatically to your Twitter or Instagram. Thanks.
Yeah, you can link your Instagram and Facebook. Twitter will not link to them because Twitter is a whole separate platform, but Instagram and Facebook they're both owned by Facebook, so they play well together. So you need to enable it both on your Instagram and on your Facebook business page. So you need to have a business profile on Instagram and a business page on Facebook, and you need to link your Facebook to your Instagram through your Instagram account and link your Instagram to your Facebook through your Facebook account. And then when you post, you can just click a slider that will post to both at the same time. You can use some of those third-party tools that I talked about, like Buffer or Hootsuite or Later or Sprout Social, which is what I use. There are a number of others. There's Agora Pulse also, which I've tried out, and it's pretty good too. And you can just select all of your different platforms. So you can select your Twitter account, your LinkedIn, your Facebook, your Instagram, whatever it is, and post the same thing to all of those. But I would try to be strategic about what you post where. So look at who your audience is on each different platform. Make sure that the post is relevant to all the different audiences. And think about what performs best on each platform. So whereas video performs really well on Facebook, Video doesn't maybe perform quite as well on Twitter. And they also have different lengths and different like image sizes. So if you want to post everything across the different the different platforms, I usually like to tweak things slightly because, you know, you can post more hashtags on Instagram, fewer hashtags on Twitter, no hashtags on Facebook. So I usually try and tweak my content a little bit for each different platform.
We could have done a webinar on hashtags maybe.
Oh my gosh, yes, I love hashtags.
So this is more of a comment. This is from Crystal Garrett, and she said that was fantastic, so useful. So that's great.
Oh,
thank you, Crystal.
Thanks.
Then Wendy had a question, kind of follow up on Instagram. Why is it that sometimes a post on Instagram doesn't connect to Facebook? It's not highlighted and won't allow me to do it.
I would have to see what's happening.
Maybe Wendy could send us a message or send you a message after.
Yeah. So my website's there, but yeah, can I post my email address and my stuff?
We'll share it out.
Or,
if you can actually send a message to all attendees in the chat.
Okay.
And we'll do that after.
Okay.
She said it doesn't happen all the time, just sometimes. You will receive a link to this later. So everything we're chatting about here, every link that Ingrid has mentioned, different ways to schedule your social media posts, all those things, we'll share those out. So we'll just probably do a bulleted list of here's some of the websites Ingrid discussed today. Let's see, we have another question talking about pillars from Tasha Matthews. Is there anywhere we can find a cheat sheet on pillars that are industry specific to the product you sell? I can come up with them on my own, but would like to have a heads up on which pillars would be most strategic for my product niche if one exists.
Yeah, I think it would depend on your business. Like I do a lot of consulting and help businesses to come up with social media strategies, and in that is included a list of pillars that are specific to their business, so that they know, you know, how many posts they should post under different pillars and what they should post under the different pillars. So it is specific to each business. There's not really a cheat sheet for it, but you can probably Google. A lot of people call them content pillars. People also call them social media content themes or content categories, and you can probably get lists of different pillars. It'll probably help you to generate ideas.
Great. Okay. And maybe Tasha Matthews can just tell us what business she's in. We'll come back later if there's anything, if you see it and you might think of something. Wendy followed up with, that was absolutely fantastic. Thanks so much. I just want to throw in some positive comments before we get to the questions. That's really, really great feedback.
Yeah, that's wonderful.
And wow, there's a lot of just positive things. So we're going to go to question. What are your thoughts on new social media apps like TikTok for businesses?
Yeah, so TikTok is great right now because it's booming. So a lot of people have just recently, they're like a lot of new adopters. So a lot of people have started going on TikTok recently with the pandemic because we're all bored. So it is a great place. If you can generate the right kind of content that will, like if you look at what other people are posting. So what I would do is I would do some research for, you know, a few days or a few weeks and figure out what performs really well on TikTok in your industry. So look at other, you know, whatever sort of business that you have, look at what other businesses like that are posting. And then also look at what's going viral. So what kind of challenges are people doing, or what, you know, there's all kinds of different ideas. And then start generating some ideas. And the thing with TikTok is that you have to post really regularly. So it's pretty high maintenance. In order to get the best results, people post 2 to 3 times a day. So it's a lot of commitment. But you can really generate a ton of engagement on TikTok right now. So yeah.
That's wonderful. And I forgot to mention this is only part one of
Yeah.
working with WordCraft. So part two, I'm sure we'll cover some more in-depth things. So another question: if Facebook caters to the 28 to 55-year-olds, what about Twitter, Instagram, and LinkedIn? Snapchat? What's the difference between Instagram and Snapchat?
Okay, so Instagram is a bit of a younger demographic. I don't have the exact numbers, but I'm guessing it's somewhere between like the 20 to 45-ish. That might be a pretty decent demographic. Millennials. So I'm a super old millennial, but I'm still a millennial. So we're on Instagram. Snapchat is even younger. Although I don't recommend businesses go on, use Snapchat. If you're looking for a younger demographic, go with TikTok instead of Snapchat. And Snapchat is a younger demographic. It's like teens and people in their younger 20s. TikTok's the same thing. So although I've seen a lot of like millennials have started using TikTok, it used to be more of a younger like teens to 20s. Now it's going into the 30s and 40s. So Twitter. So Twitter's kind of a strange one. It's not relevant for every industry. If your industry is newsy in any way, so if there's any way to leverage news with your industry, then Twitter might be good for you. But if not, Twitter might not be the best place. And Twitter usage is declining somewhat. So it might not be the best bet. For LinkedIn, if you're looking to network with other professionals, if your target audience is business owners, then LinkedIn is a great place and you can get a lot of engagement on LinkedIn right now. I find it's the best place for my business.
That's great.
Yeah.
So somebody said, sorry, I missed how I would get the list of hashtags for the ideal customers.
Right. So I can pop the link where people can download my presentation. Hang on.
Okay, and as you do that, Courtney Boone said it's so informative. The hour flew by. Thank you so much, Ingrid. Lots of useful information. And what the best part is that it's recorded, and we'll send out all the links. So people can, if they thought something was really great, they can go back and check that out. Susan said, I have been tasked to choose. I've been tasked to choose hashtags for our posts. What is the best way to go about researching what hashtags are relevant?
Yeah. So think about your ideal customer, and the hashtag cheat sheet that I have might be relevant. So that'll come free to anyone. I just posted the link. So if you click that link, you will get the download of the PDF, the presentation, and then you'll also within a few hours get the freebie with the cheat sheet of hashtags for different ideal customers that are in the tourism industry. So you can really fall down a rabbit hole with hashtags. They're super fun, especially on Instagram. So you just start looking at hashtags that your ideal customer might enjoy. So if your ideal customer is a history buff, then search hashtag history. And you'll see other recommended hashtags will come up when you click on hashtag history. So it'll have some other ideas. So then you can click on one of those. Maybe there's like hashtag old buildings or something. And then you click on hashtag old buildings and it'll recommend a whole other list of hashtags. And so you can start looking at them and make note of how many mentions they have. So if they're the ones with the millions of mentions, then use a few of those. And the ones with the hundreds or thousands of mentions, use a few of those. And then also use a few hashtags from your industry. So if you're a hotel owner, so search hashtag hotel or hashtag luxury hotel or hashtag unique hotel, whatever it is. And again, you can click on that hashtag and it'll bring up a list of other hashtags that are relevant. So you can just kind of get lost in it and make a nice long list of different hashtags that you want to try, and then reuse some of those, and also use some new ones, and then just keep looking at your insights and seeing how many people are coming to your post through the hashtags.
Thanks, Ingrid. Just in case you thought there wasn't more questions, buckle up, there's lots. So somebody said don't use hashtags on Facebook. I think you covered that.
Yeah.
Is it because they don't
really work. They don't serve a purpose. They do sort of work, but they never really caught on Facebook. So, okay. So yeah, I just don't do it.
Well, and I guess some of the people that don't necessarily maybe know hashtags. So let's say you hashtag something on Twitter with one of the trending hashtags. That means, if anyone goes to the trending hashtags, they'll be able to, your post will be connected with every other post that's under that hashtag, correct?
Exactly. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Great. Okay. So you talk about links to blog articles. Are blogs still relevant? The company I worked with stopped using blogs in favor of social media posts.
Yeah. I mean, you could do either. Some of my clients will do blog posts and then we'll post like short snippets of, if it's like a list of the top 5 things you should do for something, then we'll create 5 different social media posts out of those. So you can use them hand in hand, and then you can link to your blog post from those 5 little social media posts. You can have a link to the full blog post if they want to learn more. I wouldn't post a whole blog on social media because it's, usually blogs are pretty long. So I would keep, the content that you're posting on social media a lot shorter and snappier than the blog posts. But yeah, blogs are still relevant. People are still, finding, especially if they're Googling something, then like especially how-tos or the top 5 reasons you should something, or the, tools, tricks, tips, a lot of that stuff is really relevant, helps you with your SEO, which you'll learn about next week. And yeah, so I think, yes, they're both relevant. They can work hand in hand. You don't need to eliminate blogs, but it's okay if you do.
Okay. So that's great. I mean, you could probably go in depth for every question, but so
short.
Yeah, that's fine. Here is the great answers and great questions. So let's go with Allison Boudreau says, do you suggest creating your own personal hashtag for your own business, organization, etc.?
Yeah, if your business is big enough, then yes. It's a great way to encourage people to post some of that user-generated content that you can then repost on your, Instagram account. So if your business is really small, then I don't have a branded hashtag for my business because, people aren't posting about me. It's just, it just doesn't happen. But some of those larger businesses, yeah, it's great. And you can put it right in your profile and you can say, tag your photos with hashtag, whatever it is. And we'll repost your pics. Like it's a good way to aggregate some of that user generated content.
That's great. So, and Jennifer, I'll get Jennifer to share out to the panelists. Nova Scotia, Tourism Nova Scotia has a hashtag that we promote. But also wanted to say, a lot of the things you're talking about promoting, I mean, we have in the last few years made hundreds of videos. We've captured thousands of photos, and they're all available on Barberstock, and we'll share that link out. So any photo that we have in our library or video, you can share to help promote your area, your business. Like for one example, you could be a kayaking business. We have a lot of videos and photos around kayaking. So you could just kind of get people excited about when they are able to book again and just get them thinking about your product, because we have world-class photo video to help share that. So again, Jennifer will share out the hashtag we use, and we'll also send the link to Barberstock so you can sign up and access our free photo and video, because it's important to post, but you really want to have that world-class photography to go with it.
For sure. especially
Okay.
on Instagram. You want those
Yeah.
beautiful photos.
Exactly. That was not a question. That was just a plug for our the opportunities available, and it's free of charge, of course. So there's two questions here, kind of around how often to post, and one question is from Jennifer McNeil, and it's how often do you recommend posting on each platform? One is too much, and then another question is from Jennifer as well. If a business chooses to use Twitter, how often should they post? I've seen recommendations for upwards of 5 times a day because posts have such a short shelf life.
Yeah, that's true. Twitter is more high maintenance than some of the other platforms because it's really quick and things don't last as long on Twitter. I mean, they're always there, but they don't stay at the top of the feed as much. So it's more high maintenance. You have to tweet more often than if you were just posting on Facebook or Instagram. And sort of like Instagram stories are more high maintenance than Instagram grid posts. So I'd say it's completely up to you how often you want to post. Again, make sure it's consistent and regular. So you're not just, posting 3 times one day and then taking a break for 7 days and then posting 4 times the next day. Make sure that you're consistent. So on Facebook and Instagram, you can post once a week and that's fine. On Twitter, I would tend to post a little bit more often. LinkedIn, you can also do, once a week and that's fine as well. Or you can post every day. The algorithm, the only time that the algorithm will penalize you is if you post too many times in a day. And this is particularly for Facebook and Instagram. So if you post more than once a day, your followers won't see your posts as much as if you only post once a day. So I would try not to post too many times a day unless it's, really important information that you need to get out there.
Okay, that's a great question and great answer. So a follow-up to earlier, so they said, should I create a hashtag for my business? And you had answered that. And then they said, well, what if it was for a specific event?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so that's a great idea. If it's for an event, then everyone, make sure people are aware that there's a hashtag for that event, and yeah, get people to use it. And then whoever is organizing the event, you would hopefully repost or retweet
Right.
those posts that use that hashtag.
Perfect. Okay, and then maybe if you created a hashtag for that event, you'd maybe give away 2 free tickets if people share it or tag friends or things like that. I guess
that's a great way to have a contest.
Exactly. I mean, because creating the hashtag and then encouraging people to use it, I guess, would be again another webinar. But so, how do I find insights on Facebook and Instagram from an anonymous attendee?
So I can show you.
Right. I just wanted to say to everybody that's still on, we still have 94 participants. That's so great. Okay. We're just going to continue on, answer all the questions, and this will be recorded as well. So there's great questions, so we don't want to cut it short. So we would love to see Ingrid show us how to get our insights here.
So if you can see, this is my
Yep.
Facebook business page. Right at the top here, there's insights. So if you click on that, then you'll be able to get almost any information you want. So there's an overview here. You can have information about your followers, and this shows you how many followers you have. The posts button is particularly good for finding out when your followers are online. So you can see here, Monday is a great day for me to post because there are 120 of my followers who are online on Monday. And then if you look down below, you can see what time. And again, these are in Pacific time. So make sure you do the conversion. So as you would expect, it drops off overnight when people, around here are not online, but it spikes around the evening, sometime in the evening. So Monday during the evening is a great time for me to post. So everyone's insights are different. And you can also get information on all of your posts. You can find out what your reach is. Engagement rate is a good thing to look at. This is the percentage of people who have seen your post who have actually engaged with it. So they've done either a like or a comment or a share. You want your engagement rate to be 1% or higher, which sounds like a really low threshold, but 1% is actually really, really good. So as long as you're over 1%, you're doing well.
That's great. And what about Instagram? Can they check their insights out there?
Yeah, I can't show you through my screen because it's only on your phone, but if you have a business profile, you go to your profile, there are 3 little lines in the corner, and there's an insights drop down that'll come up. So there you can see the same thing. You can go to the audience tab and you can find out when your audience is online. You can also go by each post. When you go to one of your posts, there'll be a view insights button. So you can click on that and that'll tell you how many people have looked at your post and how many people have come through hashtags or through your profile or through the explore page or whatever it is. Insights are super fun, and I'll be talking more about insights during.
Okay. So another question would be, other than being able to link your Instagram and Facebook posts, is there any other really good reason you should set your Instagram up as a business profile?
You can create ads if you have a business profile. If you don't have a business profile, you cannot have any ads. So that would be the main reason. Yeah.
That's great. I'm just going to start doing some quick snappers so you can we won't go too in depth. This is just a lot of them. So there's a new buy local. Okay, so let me just go over to the question answers. I only have a few followers, very few being customers. I guess I have to do a Facebook ad in order to reach more. Friends and family are not very helpful in sharing. And this is from Wendy, and I believe Wendy mentioned above that she is a, let's see, bear with me. So I guess you can start to answer it and I'll see. Sorry. All right, can't find it, that's fine. Okay. So I guess, yeah, like how would they connect?
Right. So you can do an ad, and I'll be talking more about boosting posts and creating ads in part 2.
Perfect.
Yeah, so it's through Facebook, right? So one way is to share your posts to some different promotions groups. There are a whole slew of them. But if you search like Nova Scotia promotions or your little area, like I'm in Yarmouth County, so there's a Yarmouth promotions group on Facebook. There's like 8,000 members of the Yarmouth promotions group on Facebook. So if I post something to my business page, I can share it to that Yarmouth promotions group, and potentially 8,000 new customers can see my post for free. I've just shared it to a group. So there are a lot of these different groups that you can take advantage of on Facebook and share your posts to them.
Oh, that's great. And yeah, I guess if there's anything you're going to cover next time, you can just briefly touch on it and say, let's join us then on June 11th. So is it possible for your organization's Facebook page to be a standalone account and not as a page under a personal account?
So they are standalone accounts, but a person needs to create it. So there needs to be a person associated to it, to
like an administrator or something.
To administrate it. But you can create a Facebook account that isn't your account to create that page, that business page.
Great. Okay. Why not Snapchat, but TikTok? I think you covered it, so just maybe briefly touch on it.
Snapchat, there's not a lot of engagement for businesses on Snapchat.
Is Snapchat TikTok, more of like a one-on-one? I mean, because TikTok is kind of broadcasting to your group of followers, but Snapchat, is it not more of like a one-on-one chat service?
Yeah, you can make a business account on Snapchat, but most people use it just to talk to their friends. They're not really interested in what businesses are doing. Whereas TikTok, it's public, and so people are looking at what businesses are doing more.
Perfect. We have, is there a way to link social media platforms so when you post on one, it will post on others rather than going into all the platforms, i.e. Facebook, Twitter, Instagram? I think I covered this too, but again, probably.
You can use third-party tools like Later, Buffer, Hootsuite, Agorapulse, Sprout.
Okay. And we'll share all those later today, which is perfect.
Yeah.
Okay, so there's a new support local business sticker for Instagram stories. Do you know anything about this and how it should be used?
Yeah, so you can use it and then you'll appear in the stories that are like the stories from all of your friends or connections who have used that sticker. It's just a way of promoting, like sharing the love. Like you can tag other local businesses and then maybe they'll create a story where they tag you. It's just a way of sharing the love.
Perfect. We had a question about an app to build a pet community. What social media platform would be best to promote an app that was built around creating a pet community? They said maybe we'll take it offline, but I guess off the top of your head, any thoughts?
I think a Facebook group would be pretty great.
Yeah,
so on Facebook, you can create pages for your business, but you can also create groups. So this is, so your business can have a Facebook page and a Facebook group. You can take advantage of both, but groups are more for communities. So if you're creating a community, Facebook group would be great.
Okay, I think that's a great tip. What should the balance be between Instagram stories and regular Instagram posts be? What's the benefit of each?
I would say post more stories than your grid posts.
Okay.
Usually the grid posts are more planned and thought out. So you might post like 2 a week or something, and they're more polished. So they're planned, they're polished. The photography is usually a little better, whereas your stories are more off the cuff. So it's a lot of behind the scenes stuff, just like, well, what's happening right now. The photos are not necessarily polished. They're not necessarily done by a professional photographer or anything. You're just taking with your phone, and short videos. So those are more frequent, less polished, it's more of a way to share like some humanity, whereas the grid posts are more polished and it's like less of that humanity.
Okay, that makes sense. I was just thinking when I was looking at the buy local question around the stickers, we have a new Dine and Stay Home campaign that we're working on in collaboration with the regional marketing organizations. See, it's at novascotia.com/dine and stay, and we'll get Jennifer to share that. It just features all the opportunities to dine and stay at dine at restaurants around the province that are offering takeout. So again, supporting local businesses, kind of back to your earlier theme that customers want to help you out and just trying to connect them with that.
Awesome. Yeah, I saw that.
So another question was, will Tourism Nova Scotia share quality content made by tourism operators on its Facebook page? Definitely. Just again, and how would you, I guess I had a question actually. And this question was like, will we share other people's content? And yes, we will, of course, if it aligns with what we're trying to accomplish on Facebook as well. And I guess that will come back to not only hashtagging, but kind of tagging certain people in posts or like at tourism. You know what I mean? So I guess can you touch on that a bit?
Yeah, so especially for Instagram stories, the only way that someone can reshare your story is if you tag that person. So if I want like Visit Nova Scotia or Digital Nova Scotia to share my story, I need to do at Visit Nova Scotia or at Digital Nova Scotia on my story. Otherwise, it's a bit of a complicated, like they can't just click a button and share it. So if you want Tourism Nova Scotia to reshare your stories, make sure you do the at Visit Nova Scotia on your story. And you can do the same thing on your grid posts, although anyone can share a grid post, so it's not as necessary. But if you use the Tourism Nova Scotia hashtag, then they'll see it. The branded hashtag, then they'll see it because I assume you're following that hashtag. And on Facebook, you can tag. I think is it at Nova Scotia? so that they can see your post, so that they'll get a notification that says that, such and such tourism operator tagged Tourism Nova Scotia in their post. Same thing on Twitter. You do the whatever it is, @Tourism Nova Scotia. Yeah.
We'll share it out.
Cool.
And it's actually at the end of the presentation.
Awesome.
So can you explain what a sticker is?
Oh yeah. So on your Instagram stories, there's a bunch of different, yeah, I guess they're called stickers. So that you can use on your post. So there's a location sticker. So this it just says exactly where you are. You can use whatever location, like I'm in Pubnico, Nova Scotia, so I'll use the Pubnico, Nova Scotia sticker, location sticker. There's the @mention sticker. So they're just ways of categorizing your stories. You can use hashtag stickers. There's also the support small business sticker. They're just ways of categorizing your Instagram stories so that people see them. So if you use a certain hashtag, then when people are searching that hashtag, they'll see, if they're searching stories with that hashtag, they'll see your story. Just like the support local, support small businesses, that one appears in a story itself. So your story, I don't know if this is even making sense, your story will appear in the support local business story. It's very meta.
Okay, that's good. What do you recommend for ad spend and boost spend on Facebook and Instagram? What is the best way to increase reach and engagement with your posts?
So I'll be talking more about that in part 2. But yeah, essentially you choose what you want to spend when you're boosting a post or when you're creating an ad. It's whatever your budget is. The more you spend, the more people you reach. But you have to be strategic about it, because if your audience is small and you spend a lot, you're just hammering those same people over and over again. So I'll get into that more next month.
Great. Can you get any information for a group on Facebook or just a business page? I'm not sure what that question means specifically.
Yeah, so if you have a business, you can create a page or a group or both. You can share information about your business through the page or through the group. Some people choose to have a group because engagement can be higher in a group, but with your group, you can't create ads. So you need the page if you want to create ads or boost posts. So in the group, the people who are members of the group will get the default is that they'll get notifications when you post. They can disable the notifications, but that's a way of getting more engagement in a group. But yeah, so the difference is that the page, you can do ads and boost posts, whereas the group.
Okay, that's awesome. Last question. Do you think people are a little overwhelmed on social media with the word, using the word pandemic when advertising tourism-related experiences? Is it better to avoid using words like pandemic, COVID-19, etc.? Should you instead phrase things like "stay home, start dreaming," or start dreaming of your ideal vacation?
Yeah, so definitely personal preference, I would say. I know I had a client that said to stay away from the words coronavirus and COVID-19. They just did not want those on any of their posts. So it's definitely a personal preference. If you'd rather stay away from those terms, that's fine. Although you can use those terms somewhat to your advantage. Like if you're creating a post that is about COVID-19 or about the pandemic, you can use those hashtags. They'll help people see your post if they're looking for information about that. I know there's like hashtag COVID-19 NS that a lot of businesses have been using in Nova Scotia. So that will help you if you think your audience is looking for content that is about, COVID-19 in Nova Scotia. However, from a marketing perspective, spinning it as stay home, start dreaming about your ideal vacation, that's a great way to market any sort of tourism destination.
That's perfect. I don't think we have any more questions today, so I'm going to thank you, Ingrid, and we'll share out all the information later today. I'm just going to share our screen again.
Cool.
From here, see if that works. Perfect. So thank you guys so much for joining us today. Of course, this is a recorded webinar, so if you're joining after the fact, thank you so much for checking out the information. There's lots of relevant information today to help your businesses. Join us back for part 2 on June 11th. And we do have some upcoming webinars. Next Wednesday, we have Why Search Engine Optimization is More Important Than Ever. And that will be Wednesday, May 20th. And of course, we'll build off some of the things we learned today. That's at 10 a.m., delivered by Macmillan Search. We also have from Digital Nova Scotia, Marketing for Small Business on May 19th. That's with Nicole Gallant of Smart Cat Marketing. So we'll share that data out as well later today. Let me see here. We also have next Thursday, Sales Planning for COVID-19 Recovery. That's with STEM Consulting, and STEM joined us a few weeks back and provided a webinar, which is available again to watch anytime you'd like. Their next one will be Thursday, May 21st, and that's again at 10 o'clock. So we hope you can join us then. We've discussed a lot of things today. We'll share out the videos. We'll also share out all of our contact information. We really encourage you to stay connected with Tourism Nova Scotia. Our contact business development email is tnsbusiness@novascotia.ca. You can sign up for our In Touch newsletter. We would really encourage that. That's where we share all of the relevant information around programs, relevant information for industry. Follow us on Twitter, LinkedIn, our website, tourismns.ca. And I had mentioned at the start some really relevant information around COVID-19 resources, and they can be found at tourismns.ca/coronavirus. Again, we'll share all this out. Thank you so much for joining us today, and I hope to see you next week.